After announcing new reciprocal tariffs on Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump went on to host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the White House, where the two held a news conference. Okay, for more on how India is likely to also be hit by new U.S. tariffs, plus the state of the two sides' economic relations, we're joined by Ravi Ramamurti. He is a university distinguished professor of international business and strategy at Northeastern University, as well as director of the Center for Emerging Markets there. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Sean.
Okay, for more on how India is likely to also be hit by new U.S. tariffs, plus the state of the two sides' economic relations, we're joined by Ravi Ramamurti. He is a university distinguished professor of international business and strategy at Northeastern University, as well as director of the Center for Emerging Markets there. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Sean.
Prime Minister Modi here in D.C. saying he hopes to strengthen ties between the two nations. And although he supported Trump in the U.S. president's re-election effort, Modi may not find a sympathetic ear in the Oval Office. What do you expect from the discussions?
I think it's going to be a tough negotiation. I think we know Trump's style is to to be very warm and friendly on the one hand, but also to be very tough in the negotiations. I think the announcement of the reciprocal tariff plan on the day of Modi's arrival was, I think, an indication of how he intends to treat all trading partners, friends or otherwise, as on the economic front on very tough ways. And so I think given how important the U.S. is to India for its own growth, I think this is going to be a very important conversation for Modi as well.
What impact, Ravi, do you think that Trump's new reciprocal tariffs will have on U.S.-India trade? Because Trump has called India, quote, the tariff king.
Yes, India does have some of the higher tariffs among the developing countries. And in the last couple of years, in some cases, they've even had gone up, whereas many other countries were bringing them down. But the idea of having reciprocal tariffs creates one challenge for all countries, and that is, do you now just have a different tariff for the U.S. than you do for other countries, or do you bring down the tariff for a given product for all countries? Under the WTO, you would normally, if you brought down your tariffs, bring them down for all of your trading partners. But I think in this instance, what might happen is the tariffs might get lowered for just the U.S., and which is a kind of export protectionism that I think Trump will be trying to promote. In other words, gain access to export markets in a protected way. And if India can limit it to just U.S. Exports coming into India with preferential tariffs, the impact may not be as severe as if it had to lower it for all trading partners.
Yeah, there's also this potential for chaos. But if you look at what India's done in the past couple of years, they have lowered tariffs on goods like Harley-Davidson, which went down from 50% to 40%, and they've also reduced reciprocal tariffs on such items as lentils, walnuts, apples, almonds, and other items. So is that perhaps a crack in the door opening?
Well, I think this was, an initial gesture to show that India is willing to negotiate in good faith, willing to make some concessions, or maybe even unilaterally, even before the negotiations have begun, and also promises to buy, more U.S. energy, promises to buy defense products from the U.S. I think these are all probably the initial concessions that India was prepared to make. It's very important for India to try to keep access into the U.S. for some of its major exports, like pharmaceuticals. And also, as you referred to in the introduction, to the H-1B program.
So how do you think that the U.S. views India's role in the Indo-Pacific region, especially considering as a possible counterweight to China?
I think that has been the strategic logic for some of the relationship between the two countries. I think that is probably still an important consideration. India is a member of the Quad, and in his press conference, President Trump referred to the Quad as an important element of U.S. relationship with India. So I do think that is going to be important. What appears still unclear is how much emphasis economic interest and economic issues will take over security issues. Is the balance going to subtly change a little bit in this next Trump administration.
And a lot of people have said, look, this is just a tool. Trump really doesn't want to throw the world into economic chaos by having all these tariffs. But the U.S. is India's largest trading partner, and the U.S. has a trade deficit of $50 billion. And Trump does not like deficits, even though many economists say they don't have a huge problem with the way trading works out.
Yes, but as you say, this division of labor across countries has a certain economic logic, and it's helped to keep inflation down, prices down, competition up, innovation up across the global economy over the last 50 years or so. We are now throwing that whole system, it seems, out of the window, and we don't know what is going to take its place. And as you indicated, if every country starts to have a different tariff for the same product for every trading partner, that will create enormous confusion and chaos and costs. It will even create costs for U.S. companies because when they buy products and if they do have to pay the tariff, their competitiveness downstream in products that use those inputs that are imported will also be hurt. So we are really in uncharted waters. Whether this is just a ploy, I don't know, because some of it is across the board, and the steel and aluminum are very much upstream industries, which will have ramifications downstream for many companies. So I think we have to wait and see how this actually plays out in terms of domestic politics in the U.S.
One word answer: is this a big risk by Trump?
Well, I think it is, and I think we have to see how it actually pans out,
Okay.
and whether he pulls back when it doesn't work, if it doesn't work out as he expects.
Interesting. Ravi Ramamurti, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Welcome.